everybody, it's Melissa, and I'm going to be talking to you about my favorite new fragrance finds of 2023, just to round the year off. Because honestly, the first half of this year, I was using the same fragrances that I've mentioned to y'all in so many videos the previous year, and I was already content being like, if this is going to be my solid setup, then I don't mind if I smell things that are now just like lackluster from here on out, but I was thoroughly surprised. So the first one is Aqua Oud by Precious Liquid. And I've made so many videos about this fragrance. All right. I know when you're looking at it, you're like, and the thing is with all these fragrances, there's going to be no dent. You're not going to notice a dent in these scents because they're strong. All right. And if you're newer to my channel, for me with strong fragrances, I only do like 1 to 2 sprays of them. And also I live in a place where it's predominantly warm 24/7. So using sweeter scents, it's harder to come by. But with Aqua Oud, it's a fresh beast mode fragrance. If you're the type of person that wants a couple sprays of a fresh fragrance to last you 10 to 12 hours, no problem, even longer than that on clothes, this is your superstar right here. Now, I first smelled this fragrance when it came out in July of 2023, in the summertime. And I have the unboxing video up for this scent and other fragrances from Precious Liquid that were to come out, right? That were not released yet. And I remember this one being the one that caught my eye the most because it was different. The juice was a different color than everything else. It was gold. It was like liquid gold. And I was thinking to myself, it says Aqua, but it also says Oud. And Oud is a note that is it's hit or miss to me, right? It's very polarizing. Typically, a lot of ouds that I have smelled have not been done right. But whenever I do love an oud, I cannot shut up about it. One example of that was Tom Ford's Oud Wood. I know technically a lot of fragrance connoisseurs don't find that to be an oud fragrance. I get it, but it still has oud in it. And it was something that totally changed the oud game for me. And interestingly enough, the perfumer that made that is the owner of the Precious Liquid brand. So I should have thought to myself, I should have known that his oud was going to be good, but I was still hesitant about it. When I smelled it, I was like, yo, this is fire. It smells way better on skin than it does on a test strip, by the way. So if you have the opportunity to test it on yourself, please do that. It smells less oudy on me when I wear it, but it is like, this fragrance is so unique to what people are actually going to be wearing around you. And I've mentioned the story that I told y'all when I went to grab some pho, or just, it was like a to-go, not pho, it was some Vietnamese food. But the cashier, she was like the register away from me, pretty like a decent distance from me, maybe 2 arms lengths. And she was like, what perfume are you wearing? And I told her, and she's like, you smell really good. It's pretty strong. And when I heard it was pretty strong, when she said that, I was like, oh, is that too much? Because, sometimes people, when they say that, they're like, oh yeah, like that's strong. It's kind of them saying, hey, that was a lot. And I only did like 2 sprays of it, right? And she said, no, I like it. And she actually leaned forward and closed her eyes and she went to smell it some more. She's like, that smells really good. I've never smelled something like that before. That's what she told me. So that's when I knew, I'm like, okay, this is the type of scent. It's a niche fragrance that has the mass appeal. And at the same time, it's not the safe mass appeal. It's still daring, in my opinion, because if a random person that I didn't know complimented me on this fragrance and wanted multiple sniffs of it, I'm like, that is something special right there, because that does not happen with 99% of fragrances that I wear. So I knew that I had to share with y'all the experience I had with it. Also, I wore it to a day rager and girls were going nuts over this fragrance. I was giving hugs and stuff. And they're like, oh my, they were giving me the you know what I mean? Like, you smell so good. Those hugs were lasting for a really long time. And I was telling them what it was. They didn't know what it was. And also, of course, because it's newer, and also it's just a niche fragrance in general. And it's a niche brand that people don't know. So really, really fire, y'all. And in case I didn't mention it, I'll put the discount codes that I have for these in the comment section and the description box below. If you want to support the channel, that'd be great. If you don't want to use those, it's totally fine. This video isn't sponsored. I'm not mentioning these fragrances to make a quick buck off y'all, because I always stay honest with my opinions on stuff. You could check what I hate, what I don't like, what I love, but that's just there in case y'all want to use it. All right. But Aqua Oud, really fire. If you live somewhere where it's cold, but you're craving a fresh fragrance with performance, get this one. I don't think you'll be disappointed at all. The next one, this is kind of a cheat to have on this list, but let me explain, okay? This is Dior Sauvage Elixir. I believe this came out either in 2022 or 2021, but this scent, when I tried it a year ago, I tried it from a little sample vial that came from Dior that I had. And I wasn't crazy about the opening with it. In fact, even the whole time that I was wearing it, like it smelled good, it was powerful. That was the one thing that I noticed. I'm like, oh, this thing's got performance, right? But I wasn't crazy about it at all. In fact, it wasn't until I washed my laundry, and I remember this specifically, because I sprayed it, a little bit went on a sweater that I had on, right? So when I washed that sweater a couple weeks later, or maybe 3 weeks later, something like that, and I was folding it and I was putting it back in my drawers, I smelled like a whiff of this fragrance, a little bit of it. And I'm like, oh, this thing smells good. I'm like, why does this smell familiar? And I was like, is that the Elixir? And it was literally, y'all, hugging my sweater. I could still smell it in the faintest way. It wasn't even that faint, to be honest. But I remember only doing a little bit of a spray on it and I could still smell it. And I'm like, damn, I just did laundry and I still smell Elixir, and it smelled so good. And I think I made a video saying that I didn't really care for this fragrance when I did my unboxing, but I made another video saying, hey, y'all, for some reason, the super dry down of this fragrance is getting me right now, you know? But then this year, this was given to me recently, again, all these fragrances in the back half of this year, right? So this was given to me probably less than 2 months ago from a follower. And I was like, you know what? Let me throw this on. And the rest has been history. This has totally grown on me. Maybe it's because I'm smelling it from the bottle now. And I've noticed that there's a little bit of a difference with that. Sometimes when I try samples of fragrances, it doesn't hit the same versus when I actually try them from the bottles. But I wore it. And it has that typical Sauvage DNA, but it goes in a more complex, deep direction. And when I say that, it's not super like mass appealing like the EDP and the EDT, which I still recommend over this. If you're somebody that wants a masculine fragrance, you know you're set on Sauvage, just get the Sauvage EDP for versatility because it's just so well balanced. It's not as sharp as the EDT, and you can wear it with anything and everything. You're going to smell fantastic no matter what. Now, I personally prefer the Elixir, and the reason for that is just because, you know, it smells different and it's not as commonly worn as the EDP and the EDT where I live. Trust me. Where I'm living, if I pass by a group of guys, I will smell Dior Sauvage. That's just how popular it is, specifically the EDT or the EDP. But the Elixir has this sort of pine tree Christmas background to it on my skin. That's really addicting to my nose. I'm like, this smells so fire. And you know what? I remember, I think I was with my sister and she was like, that thing smells so good. You should give that to my boyfriend. And she always like says that like as a joke, but you know, it's one of those jokes that is a joke, but also at the same time, she wouldn't be mad if he was the one wearing it instead, you know? And so we would like laugh it off like that. But she thinks this fragrance smells fantastic as well. And for all of you that have seen my sister on my channel, she's very honest with her opinion on things. And just to remind you, she did not like Aqua Oud on paper. I had her smell it on that test strip. But before we made that video, and even after that video, when I would wear this on skin, she loved it. So that's just the vast difference between skin and paper, right? But Elixir, this one, y'all, I mean, you might not even be able to see the juice because of the dark bottle, but the juice is still high up on this bottle, and I've used it a lot, like back-to-back days. I feel like this and Elysium have been going back and forth. Even Salt and Pepper as well has been in that mix too, but been loving Elixir. Great performance, nice masculine fragrance. All right, the next one I'm going to talk about is Philosophia, Extrait de Parfum. This is by Day 3, and this is the cheapest fragrance on the list, if I'm not mistaken. I think this is like $150. This is $135. I have a discount for this for like 15% off, so you can get it for like $100, I don't know, like $115, something like that. Maybe I could be wrong about that. But this scent showed out during Scent Explore. All right, this is a cigar fragrance that, oh my God. Hazelnut, chocolate, cashmere. Let me flip that actually. cashmere, hazelnut, chocolate. That is the main thing that I get with this fragrance. And I actually had a cigar recently, and it wasn't the Ashton VSG, but I had a Cuban, and I was like, oh man, like it's just, for me, I enjoy a nice cigar from time to time, right? And I just couldn't help thinking when I was smoking that, I'm like, I need to get my lips on the VSG, because it's just, if it smokes the way that this smells, that thing's about to be my new favorite cigar, because this right here, I just find it to be so beautiful. And it's not a gourmand fragrance, but it makes me, like when I smell it, my body reacts like it's a gourmand scent. Like I start salivating, and it's just like the sweetness is just addicting. But my favorite thing actually about this fragrance is the cashmere. I feel like the cashmere adds a sort of classy, luxurious feel to this fragrance that makes you kind of want to sit up straight. You know, it's the type of fragrance that if you wear it, and it wears very unisex, by the way. This is unisex, this is unisex, this is masculine, all right? But Philosophia is like, you wear this if you're dressed up, oh, you're gonna smell fantastic. And the thing is, it smells great in the air, but it smells better up close. Like if you saw my unboxing video of this, I sprayed it in the air and I was like, oh yeah, this is good. But the second I put it to my nose like this, that thing was game over. So honestly, if you wear this, apply it on your skin, like one behind each ear, or just do it on the back of your neck. So when you're getting those hugs, people smell it off you, because it's different. Again, and I know I use the word different for Aqua Oud as well, but trust me, I do my best to really keep it real with y'all of what people are wearing out there and the way that these fragrances are perceived to the general public, what real people think. Because online, the opinions can be different. You're gonna hear people saying, oh, everybody wears Leighton by Parfums de Marly. Everybody wears blah, blah, blah. But when you really step outside, is everyone really wearing Leighton? No. They're barely even wearing L'Homme by YSL, let alone something like Leighton, right? Let alone a fragrance like Philosophia. So this is a scent, this was my favorite thing that I found at Scent Explorer. Everything else was so subpar in comparison to this fragrance. And honestly, when I was there those past couple days, I kind of went in with this mindset of, I might not find a fragrance that blows me away, right? Because when you're at these events, you know, people really try to market their brand, and I get it. They're all small businesses. But, you know, the way they explain it is beautiful. But when you actually put your nose to the fragrance, it's just subpar, right, to me. And I'm like, okay, like this smells, yes, it smells like a happy fragrance, sure, but is it something that's memorable? No. So I was going through so many fragrances like that I'm like, they're good, but they're not memorable. When I came across this though, this is a memorable type of scent for sure. If you wore this on a first date and it's cold, like it's December right now, if you took your partner, or if you were on a date and you had this on your scarf and y'all are watching Christmas lights, or you're going on like a nighttime walk and having some coffee or some hot cocoa, it's the type of scent they're like, oh man, they smell good. It's cuddly. It makes you want to get cozy. It makes you want to be intimate, not even in a sexual way, even though this fragrance can take it there, but just in a way of like, let me just get closer to this person. So very beautiful scent. And like I said, it's an extrait de parfum. So longevity is great. I'm not saying this is a beast mode where it will fill the room like Sauvage Elixir will, but it's the type of fragrance that you will still be able to smell on yourself, and people that are in your scent bubble will notice. So don't confuse this as a beast mode, like projecting scent, but a good fragrance with longevity, all right?